Welcome back to Tailgaters, everyone. My name is David Campbell, and I have a special guest on the show today because usually my good buddy, Ethan Cole, is the one joining me, but Ethan did not make it today because we have Olympic specialist Jackson Steven Saley. Talking about huge Olympics. Jackson, my man, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm ready to talk about this.
I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, this is professional sports, of course. I mean, these are some of the best athletes. In the United States, for hockey, for instance, might not be professional. They don't play in the NHL.
Yeah.
No, they're legit as much as the next. This is a whole Olympic special. The games this past 2 weeks, really, in Beijing. And so let's just get right into it with first off a medal recap. Coming in first place, to many people's surprise, maybe was Norway. Norway, a team that is a small country, but they really showed out. What are your thoughts on their overall performance?
Yeah, I mean, this is the Winter Olympics country. I don't think they've been beat recently, and in fact, so they have 37 medals, 16 of them gold, which is their own world record that they beat. So I think they have a very dominant performance, as always, at these Winter Olympics. I thought they started a little bit slow as these Olympics started, but they have gone to their top position. They hold the crown of the total medal count and probably the gold count. So, yeah, Norway dominant as always.
Absolutely. I say surprising because it's just a smaller country. You expect a team, whether through second through five, like the Russian Olympic Committee, who finished in second with 32 medals of their own. Obviously, that's up for debate. And we'll get into that, of course, a little later. But they got second place. Third place was Germany, no longer two countries, just the one now. And Canada came in fourth, another well-performing Winter Olympic country. And then fifth place was the United States, the hometown team. I guess you could always cheer for. I always cheer for the U.S.
Yes.
So the U.S. finished fifth, which is actually, you said yourself, 2 medals better than 2018.
Yeah, 25 medals, 8 gold, 10 silver, and 7 bronze. And this is 2 medals better than 2018. But this is probably in terms of medal position, this is the lowest that we have gone in a little while, probably since the 1990s. But it's probably because there's a lot more sporting events being added in here to these Beijing Olympics, and Winter Olympics it's getting more competitive as it goes on.
Let's move to our first event that we're going to talk about, the U.S. men's hockey team and the U.S. women's hockey team, both with, performances. One was more disappointing than the other, was on the men's side, losing to Slovakia in the quarterfinals. And one other thing I want to mention here that's not even a part of the game, in the hotel room, or whatever they were saying, Olympic Village, I should say, there was a noise complaint from the U.S. team, and not really the best look for a country who, had higher expectations in losing in the quarterfinals. Jackson, were you disappointed from the hockey team this season?
Yeah, it's disappointing, especially how they handled themselves throughout the pool play. They beat Canada for the first time since 2010 in pool play, and then they went on to be undefeated in pool play, and then just to be defeating the quarterfinals in a shootout. It's very disappointing for the men's hockey team. They had so much hope in the future of these athletes, and these are not NHL athletes participating here because NHL was not allowed to, or they chose not to send any of their players to the games. In fact, they were probably still playing during the Olympics this year. But yeah, it's very, very tough loss for USA, being undefeated and then going out in the quarterfinals. Not a good look.
Absolutely, and a team with a little bit of a better result, the U.S. women's hockey team, finishing second, which, I think it was expected to finish either second or first because the absolute domination from the USA and Canada was well put on display. Canada and both the United States were absolutely tearing through the competition in pool play, which is blowout win after blowout win, including knockout play where the U.S. beat Czech Republic, I believe it was 5 years like that, and Canada beat everyone. It seems like by 10 goals. Overall, loses the gold medal match though, 3-2. And what do you think of this women's hockey tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that Canada and the United States are in this gold medal match. This is probably the 4th straight matchup, a gold medal matchup between the Canada and the United States. But Canada has shown through pool play and through the playoffs that they are the team. They 12-1 to Switzerland, 11-1 to Finland, 11-0 to Sweden in the quarterfinals, and again 10-3 to Switzerland in the semifinals. To just name a couple of matchups in which dominating fashion that Canada wins these women's hockey games.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's move from the ice hockey rink to the figure skating rink, because it is one of the best and one of the biggest sporting events probably at the Olympics. And I know my mom loves it. I bet a lot of moms love it too. Let's talk about one of the best athletes in the world, Nathan Chen, who wins gold for the United States. What a performance from him overall, Jackson. What is there to even say about Nathan Chen?
Absolutely. Well, first off, in the short program, he posted a world record in the score for the short program, and then he had a spectacular free skate. He just threw down to Elton John.
Yeah.
He had a nickname of the Quad King for all the jumps that he does. A quad is like four rotations in the air, which is very hard to do. And now he has the nickname of Rocket Man in relation with the music that he skated for gold.
Yeah. And Nathan Chen, I mean, he is just, I'm trying to think of a comparison when you look at an Olympic athlete. Like when Michael Phelps was prime,
Yes.
24 though. Simone Biles is a great one as well. Both were just, the king and the queen of Olympics, it seems like. And Nathan Chen was absolutely amazing. However, got to talk some negative stuff as well about this Olympics. And of course, it involves the ROC. 15-year-old Russian Kamila Valiyev should, we'll get into this question in a minute here, but a lot of controversy surrounding the 15-year-old. Number one, well, she's very talented, of course. She's very talented no matter what. It absolutely insane what she's doing. I mean, she was born in 2006. It's absolutely crazy to me. Carl's won World Series in 2006. I remember watching it, at 4. Anyway. I mean, that's just insane. Jackson, what is there to say about the situation? What are your overall opinions on it?
Yeah, so the background for those of you who haven't been in the figure skating world, so there was the team event, and after the team event concluded, in which Kamila Valiyev has participated in, news broke out that Kamila tested positive for 3 banned drugs. And this was a sample taken in December and was just released after the Olympics started and after the team event. And we talked about how one of those medals that ROC got is in question because of this event that just happened. And so basically, she was banned, a temporary ban, but that ban got lifted, and they went through the Court of Arbitration for Sports to try and get to here, or for her to be able to compete in the individual program, and they won that appeal, and she was still allowed to skate. To the disappointment of the figure skating analysts on NBC. She was still the favorite to win this event. However, if she were to get on the podium, the individual medalists of the other and Kamila would not be able to get their medals until after this situation has settled. So she went in last, or she skated last. And the pressure got to her. She had a lot of uncharacteristics, mistakes, including 2 falls, that took her off the podium. And the effects involved were just so hard to watch.
Yeah. It was tough because
I
mean, she's a human being. And not only that, she's a kid. She's 15. I mean, I say that I'm 19, but she's 15 years old, competing on the world's biggest stage for her sport. And to watch her struggle like that, I think Mike Tirico said it best. Is she a victim? Is she a villain for what she did? Is she a victim for that? She's a victim of the villains. Honestly, what Mrs. Kamila Valiyev did is just one of those situations, one of those scenes that it's honestly, it's sad. And
yes.
I don't know what the IOC will do in terms of the ROC, because they need to change something, whether that's never letting them host for a long period of time, or saying to them, we're going to test you literally nonstop, super extensively, because this has to end. I mean, this has to end. And this also poses the question for the IOC. Do you believe, Jackson, that the minimum age to compete in the Olympics should be raised? Because how are we letting a 15-year-old compete in the Olympics right now?
Yeah, this is a great question. This is a question that's been circling around the media for a little bit now. And I'll take it from the figure skater analysis from NBC. They believe that it's hard to put a limit on this type of thing, because usually 15, 16, or 17-year-olds, this is where those figure skaters are in their prime if they are going to be competing at the senior level. So it's hard to put in that frame. But what we do need to do is we need to make sure that the teams that they're involved with, that they are the best that they can be. They're not like Kamila Valiyev's team, who after the disastrous free skate was already criticizing her of her things that she did on the ice. So in that terms, just the teams need to work on themselves to make sure that they are bringing the best care to these young athletes.
I completely agree, Jackson. Let's move on to another sad story. We go from the rink to the slopes, and Michaela Schiffin, one of the greatest to ever ski, faces failure with grace. She did not finish in 3 of, what was it, 6 events? 5 events? 6 events?
6 events.
6 events, and she didn't finish in 3 of them. Michaela Schiffin, I mean, we know what she can do. We've seen it before in previous Olympics, but this was just, it was tough. It was tough to watch, and you obviously want to root for Ms. Schiffin. Jackson, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just to give you a resume of what she has done over the past few years, she is a two-time Olympic gold medalist and the sport's 3rd winningest athlete ever, but she did not finish in 3 of her 6 events skiing out. After her second do not finish, she sat on the course for 30 minutes in disbelief of all that she's been doing, questioning everything. And I know she's been very vulnerable with the media in her interviews of this. But Schiffin became just the 2nd woman ever to ski in all 6 aptline skiing disciplines at a Winter Games, which is something that's hard to do because it does put a toll on your body.
Yeah. Moving on from the skis, snowboard. Obviously, they have a little rivalry, skiers and snowboarders. But and the snowboard. Let's talk about one of the best stories of the Olympics. 36-year-old Lindsay Jacobellis, who wins gold in her event for the first time and first medal in over 16 years. Her last medal was at the 2006 Torino Games in Italy. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And so, like in 2006 medal, she was supposed to get the gold there. She had all until the very end. She showed on the last jump to get to the finish. She failed at that, and she had to settle for the silver medal. Excuse me. But she comes back to not only win 1 gold, but 2 golds with the mixed team snowboard cross event with the oldest athlete, who's about 40 years old, that she paired off with. So this is great for her. What a great comeback!
Absolutely. From Jacob Bellis, talk about another veteran as well, one of the greatest of all time to ever do it, Shaun White. Finished 4th, just missing out on a medal. An epic career from one of, if not the greatest snowboarder of all time. Jackson, what do you have to say?
Yeah, let me give you another resume for here. 3-time Olympic gold medalist, 13-time Winter X Games champion, and a 6-time World Cup winner. Just one of the best of the best. Everybody respects this guy.
Yeah.
He, at the end of his run, or his final run, he was greeted by all the other athletes down there because they have much respect for him. Maybe some of them have been riding some of his boards because they have so much respect. But he had great 203 runs in this final of the men's half pipe, but he was trying to go big, is what he said in his interviews.
He always does.
Yeah, but he crashed in the end. He had to tip his cap to the crowd, and it was a very emotional end for him. He was very emotional at the end, but I'm sure he's going to be involved in this sport for many years to come in other ways.
Yeah. Let's talk about now the final event that we are going to talk about today. Obviously, a lot of different things we have to talk to, but bobsled, which is one of the more exciting events at the Olympics. A lot of people are fans of it. No, we're not talking about the Jamaican team. Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Come on now, it's bobsled time. We're talking about that. We're talking about Elena Myers-Taylor, who won a silver medal in the first ever mono bob event and bronze in the 2-women bobsled event. You told me before the show, like, I really want to talk about this. I'm like, I didn't know much about it. So I'll take it away. I'll give it to you, my man.
Yes, there's some history here because she became the most decorated woman in the sport of bobsled and the most decorated black woman of the Winter Olympics with 5 overall career medals. And so also in the opening ceremony, she was supposed to be a flag bearer for Team USA along with John Susher of the men's curling team, but she got COVID, and so she wasn't able to participate in the opening ceremonies, but she was able to come back, win these silver and bronze medals in the Olympics, and then they voted her again for the closing ceremony. So, yeah, I mean, this is one of the most dominant women in the bobsled era, and yeah.
Well, I mean, any last thoughts about the Olympics before we move on to 2024 in the summer, which, where is that again?
It's going to be in Paris.
Paris, I forgot about that. And 2026 is
Milan Cortina.
Milan Cortina, and then 2028 is Los Angeles?
Los Angeles.
LA,
that's going to be exciting.
That's going to be awesome. I mean, you plan on making a trip?
Man.
6 years down the line?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely planning on it. If not, it's going to be great TV coverage on TV. But yeah, these Olympics, these are definitely some Olympics to remember. This is in the middle of still in the middle of a pandemic, like the Tokyo 2020 Olympics that were postponed. But there is good and bad things to take away from here. A lot of question on how these games were going to be handled, and with we're not going to go in the politics of what's going on in China right now.
Let's just hope that in 2024, though, we have fans back for the Olympics, because that would make it amazing.
Yeah, I know that in 2022 we had some fans back at the Olympics, but it was still
kind of bubble.
Yeah, it was bubble capacity, not too much. Like I think at some point they are only allowed to clap and not cheer because just spread COVID. But yeah, and I think we're going to have really great. We're going to have really great backdrops for these next couple of the Olympics. These are very cool places to visit if you got a chance to do it.
Paris,
yes, Paris.
Anyway, Jackson, I appreciate you coming on the show, my man. Back next week with the NFL offseason special. Ethan will be back. I know you guys missed him, but I think Jackson did a good job. So might have to keep him on the show. Nah, I'm playing. Ethan is the guy there. But without further ado, that'll be it. Thanks for coming on, Jackson. We'll see you next time.